All right, well, hello, my name is Joel, and Mark Witkowski, who is the designer of all these 3D printed instruments, both Serpents and Cornetti, asked me to do an instructional video regarding how I wrap the Bocal part to the Dittes V5 Serpent. Maybe I discovered something new. Anyway, so I'm going to get right to that, so flip this around. And welcome to my workshop. A little history. There was the very first Serpent that was made, or that I did. That is the anonymous version, which unfortunately does not play very well. I love the look of it, but since it doesn't play very well, it's wall art. So then, the very first V5, version 5 Dittes I did. It's right up there. Absolutely love it. And I play it quite frequently. And I just completed, this is the fourth one I've done in this gorgeous blue and gold. And I've got another black one down here that's under construction, of which I'm going to show you how I do the Bocal. So, let me get down to my workshop here and set this up. Okay, so if you look over there, there's a set of bagpipes on the wall. I am a professional bagpiper by trade, and that's kind of how I pay my bills now. But anyway, part of being a bagpiper is maintenance on the instrument, and we use this stuff. I like it. It's black waxed hemp. And bagpipers use it to seal up all the joints on their drones and chanters and all that. And I thought, hey, it's a similar application to get the cylindrical part 5 of the Bocal to properly fit in the cylindrical body part 23 of the Dittes Serpent. So I'll have a product link down in the description, but this is the stuff I use. And you can get black waxed hemp from pretty much any bagpipe store, Google, or you could do a Google search, find it on eBay, Amazon, whatever. But let's get this thing started. And so there's the hemp, and it kind of is sticky to the spool. So what I like to do is grab a screwdriver, shove it in there. And please pardon my camera angles because I'm actually watching what I'm doing. Actually, I want that to roll off of the top of the spool. Just makes it a little easier. And put my eyeballs on. Anyway, so that's going to hold the spool steady. So here is part 5 of the Bocal. And you'll notice some black goop on here. I had hemped this one. It's like, oh wait, I need to make a video, so I took it off and I'm going to redo it. Here's the rest of the Bocal, parts 1 through 4 already done. I like to wrap this as a single part so that way I don't have to deal with that big 90-degree angle right there. It just makes it simple. So if you noticed on the Serpent that's hanging on the wall, I wrap it from, this is the end that goes into the receiver of the instrument, and I wrap it all the way up to about there, about 1.5 inches from the joint where part 4 goes. All right, now in the past 4 that I've done, I've always started wrapping from this end and just kind of went up until there and stopped. Yesterday I tried to, well, the Bocal that's in the blue one, I did that. I put a little loop on it, thinking that once I get to this one, put the end through the loop, pull it tight, and then the little loop would cinch it down. But there was too much wax and tension that method didn't work. So I'm like on, oh, wait a minute. Well, let's try another method. So this is going to be the first method where I'm technically going to go backwards, and I think it's going to work out really great. All right, so we're going to start where we typically end. And again, it's about 1.5 inches from the joint where part 4 goes. We're going to put the hemp down there, maybe about 1/4 inch, and just going to hold it down with your thumb. And now comes the fun and tedious part of just wrapping. Now, as you wrap, make sure the first several ones are going to be sloppy. Don't even worry about that. And that's not staying where I wanted it to, so maybe do that. Will that work better? All right, so the first couple wraps are going to be sloppy, but that's okay. You want to keep it taut, and then once you get it kind of started, after about 4 or 5 wraps, start scrunching it together to get a nice clean edge. All right, and you got to go over that little tab there to make sure it locks in place. Now, as you're wrapping, make sure that you don't overlap, and I don't know if you can see it on the camera, maybe if it was further, but you only want 1 strand thickness as you're going, because Mark, who designed these instruments, and specifically this Bocal, did a really good job with having a really good tight tolerance between part 5 of the Bocal and part 23 of the receiver. And so you only, if you overlap it and you get like thickness of 2 strands of hemp, it's going to be really difficult to get it in there. All right, so that's how you get it started, and I'm going to speed up the camera right now because this is going to take about 20 minutes to wrap it single length all the way down, and then yeah, when we get down to the end, I'll show you how I wrap it off, which is actually really simple. So here we go. If you notice, after it gets started, the wax kind of sticks to itself, and so you can just kind of pull it and then roll your thumb as you're going to kind of push it up against what you've already got. All right, and again, I'm not looking at the viewfinder of the camera, so if I get off center or whatever, please forgive me. All right, time to speed up. Okay, so we're getting to the end, and I'm running out of space here. So the easiest way to finish this off is get down to about as far as you can go, because the further you go down, the more the receiver is going to be able to grip onto the hemp here. But that's about as far as I can go. So then I'm just going to snip this off, just like that. And since it's wax, I'm going to just kind of mash it up. Oop, get back into the camera. I'm going to mash it like I've been doing the whole time. All right, and there is your finished product. Now you do have this loose end down here, but once you shove that into the receiver, it's going to compress it and mash it, and it's not going to go anywhere, which is kind of the problem that I had when I started down here. I did that little initial like overloop thing and then went that way, and then I had that loose end just kind of like sometimes it would pull away and there's nothing holding it down. But if you have the Bocal into the receiver, you know, for one, you have a really nice clean edge up here, and the receiver is going to hold that loose end in place. All right, and so yeah, there's how you do that. It's pretty simple. It is a little time consuming, but yeah, bagpipe hemp waxed. It comes in both black and yellow. I prefer the black one, especially if I have a black Serpent going on. But here, let me pull this piece up. So here is, let me see if I can get this in the camera angle here. So here's the receiver. Part 23 is right there, and it is, let's get this out of the way. So here's part 23. It is the cylindrical version. Now, Mark did make one that had a taper on the inside, but if you're a brass player, you know that tuning slides have to be cylindrical in shape. And so this one is going to go into about maybe that far. And at least when I'm playing all the different V5s that I've played, if I put the tuning slide or the Bocal in about right there, I can get everything in a relatively center of pitch as far as tuning is concerned. Mark, if you're watching, an idea is maybe to extend the Bocal by about another ½ inch or so that way the end could go down in deeper, and that way the receiver will just have that much more material to grip on to this. But anyway, so yeah, you're just going to put it in, and this initial push does take a little bit of force, but you'll see that, I'm guessing right now, is about where it's going to be at the final product to get it to play in tune. About that much sticking out, and so on and so forth. So yeah, pretty simple on how to wrap it. Make sure, again, to have it only one thread thick. And if you can see how the receiver flattened and squished all that up, and there's that loose end, the little tab right there, it's not going to go anywhere. All right, so if it starts beating up like that, just kind of push it back into place. And then you can clean up that top end. I don't know, maybe even you could take a match or something and maybe melt a little bit of the wax, but actually don't do that. Don't tell anybody I said to do that, because I think you might be asking for more problems than solutions. But yeah, there's part 5 of the Bocal, using waxed bagpipe hemp to make it fit inside the cylindrical part 23. And obviously I like working with this single piece instead of having it connected and having this big end having to flop around all the time. So I'm going to connect these two, let it sit for a bit, and yeah, that's about how it goes. So thanks for joining, and hope you learned something, and there you go. Talk to you later. Bye.